Guys, welcome to the Debrief Show. Today is an interesting topic on Fintech. We have never approached this, and it's an interesting topic for our show because in BizHub, you guys are the first tech entrepreneurs in the space. So we'll start with Vimal. Vimal, you are the director of Tech360. You're here with your brother. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? What is Tech360, and what are some of the things you work on? And how long have you been in this industry space?
Well, we come from a business background anyway, in Bhagwan, and manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had business running in our blood since we were pretty much born. But when I was in uni, my first job was with Vinod Patel, and then as a web developer. And from there, I went down to film school. And from film school, I was trying to build my career in films and animation. So I moved to FNU Modern Cartoons. Eventually moved to Wellington. But while I was there, we had some unforeseen reasons and then circumstances, and then I came back to Fiji. And then with the current state of my dad and the business, I decided to stay back with my job obviously on hold on the other side, but eventually I had to let go. And being an animation student working in the clothing industry to help my dad, it was a difficult situation. So pretty much I have 2 degrees. One is IT and animation. And of course that I couldn't stay in that clothing industry for a while, so I had to basically withdraw myself from the clothing industry and get into IT. It was tough back then. We were selling...
How long was this? Like, what year are we looking at?
2010.
Seven was when you went to Wellington.
7 I was in Wellington, then came back in 9. Yeah, 9. And then eventually with my dad for a year and a half. So you're looking at about 2010, 11. And then started off with a very small business. We had one person in town, I don't know should I name him or not. He's kind of the founder, let's say, founding investment for us. He called me one day and he handed me with a lump sum. And he said, do his CCTV. I think I should name him. It's Kalpana Sari House, Ashok Patel. So he gave me cash and then he said, do my CCTV. With limited knowledge, we started off, and then from there I had more work by others, and then we were selling adapters to some big companies in Fiji. So laptop adapters, compact brand, HP, Dell. So we started off with those very small things, and eventually after a couple of years, then after he's finished his studies, going to USP, and then we decided that did you want to join us? And then obviously he joined me, and then we took a different turn altogether with obviously more manpower. And then I think we were building the company slowly until we had small customers. We actually secured Ideal POS in 2012 from Australia. And then we were going very slow. Obviously manpower and things where people didn't understand point of sale. Yeah, we had, first breakthrough was Fat Burger for Ideal POS. One big project. It was huge, a lot of new requirements for Fiji. The setup was pretty much like any other big franchise. So it was very challenging to us. In 2013, I think. 13, 14, I'm not good with dates.
No worries.
And then in 15, we had Grace Road jump on board with us.
That must be a huge client.
Well, it was really tricky. And then with Divesh being on board, it was funny that their requirement was we want Korean, and
Like Korean language.
Korean
on the system.
language.
on the display and everything.
And it was difficult. And I'm not that technical when it comes to playing with Windows. So he was playing around one day, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, it just worked out. The whole language pack got installed. It was back then Windows 7, right? Very difficult to install language packs on Windows 7. So yeah, we installed it. It worked. We had a run through with the Grace Road team, and then we started with their first shop in Lemmy, known as
Happy Land.
Happy Land. Yeah, kids clothing store. From there, they've been using our point of sale, Ideal Post.
Was that like one of the biggest client you guys ever signed up at that time? Or
Well,
when they're not big at that time? I'm not.
No,
forgot.
they signed up with one shop to have a look at what we had to offer, and then the adoption rate on that time was a bit slow, but then eventually they signed up to us across the whole range of their
Currently,
stores.
they hold about 200, almost 200 plus licenses with us. With just an upgrade we just finished. So yeah, that's one of my biggest clients. And then obviously after 15 we've had a climbing ladder faster than what we expected. Then we'll take a little bit of a lapse in 2019. We're still doing with Grace Road, and then we had COVID-19. So during COVID we didn't stop. We signed up to another software, which is AutoCount. It's based in Malaysia, and now also in Singapore. So it's one of the big companies for financial softwares. So at that time we were still learning. So during COVID, our team decided that everyone's going to still get paid. You come down to the office or from home, whatever is convenient, but let's finish this training. So during COVID, we were in training mode for about a good 7 months.
We did training, we adapted the new system.
We also bought it for our company. Obviously, it's a financial system, so we adapted to that new system, and then eventually got into the reseller program. And so, so we got that.
From years of business, like what was the biggest hurdle that you two brothers have faced, and you felt like that was your breaking point?
I think the
Keeping the company going during COVID, because we had expenses going. We didn't want to let go of anybody who
Those
was
fixed
working for
costs.
us.
the fixed cost, yeah.
But we wanted to maintain our staff role, make sure the families are looked after.
So guys, in this Biz Hub section where we understand businesses and understand also issues that can solve in the communities, right? What made you guys get into the fintech space?
We've been looking at this space for the last 3 to 4 years, you can say. Being in business for a couple of years, we've seen getting FPOSs for a business that you just registered was more difficult than actually starting the business itself.
Well, for me particularly, I think what technology we're using now, I mean, Divesh always says, what's the upgrade we've had FPOS in the last 20 years? From a dial-up to 4G.
Yeah.
And maximum maybe up to wireless. But for me, when I was in Auckland, I was even traveling in Auckland in 2002, 3, 4, 5 for holidays, for Christmas, because my uncle used to stay in Auckland. What we're using now, people were using back then. Our infrastructure for banking hasn't improved. When we first signed up with Ideal POS in 11 or 12, I can't, 12, they already had the FPOS integration. We are doing it.
That time I think we barely
now.
had online banking back then.
Yeah, obviously they had all that, but let's talk about FPOS in particular. They were pretty much using FPOS integration back then. We've started now, so we are not behind. We are very behind. Why? I think because there's nobody who's taking that initiative, or maybe there have been people who have taken initiative but have failed because of roadblocks. We also had roadblocks, which we can obviously discuss later. But yeah, I think the roadblocks and dominance by the big guns to suppress somebody who's coming up with something innovation. Or another would be, these big guns have money at their disposal, and they copy it in that quick instance that guy who's come up with this original idea is lost. So these are some challenges that I think which causes our infrastructure not to grow in a way we expect to grow.
So guys, now for the main question everyone in Fiji always faces: access to banking system. According to RBF, there's almost 86.5% according to IMF data that has inclusiveness in the banking infrastructure. But why does the reality on the ground always looks like what you explained? Getting simple things such as access to online banking, FPOS machine system. We can even talk in the broader aspect of other financial tools such as loans and car insurance facilities and so much. Why are banking systems so exclusive of the general public and MSMEs and businesses in the commercial sector as well? What have you understood in this reality?
In my view, starting a business in Fiji right now is easy. Getting it registered and getting your VAT number and everything. But banking is a question. Now, I don't know how the inclusive figure comes on board. Right? But if you go to any small shop, any small shop, market vendor, ask them about FPOS machine, and they look at you with you've spoken some different language. And when I started the business again, going back, we were pretty much dealing with checks, and then this whole shop discussion came about. When we had the shop, then we realized that how difficult it is to get an FPOS machine. We're just starting a shop, right? Now, if I'm banking with a particular bank and they have the FPOS system and the FPOS machine, I don't understand why they would want us to fill this 15-page form asking for our equities and what's the annual sales and all these questions of 15 pages. I really don't understand that part. And it's funny that if I'm using a particular bank's FPOS machine, the money is coming into that bank. It's not coming to me directly, or it's not diverting into somewhere else. So why are they so secretive, or why are they so holding back onto their machines? ROI to the bank, you're already charging $35 a month per machine. That's $350 a machine. If a vendor has used it for 3 years, you're looking at about $1,800 for the machine. You've covered the machine cost. So on what basis you make us fill these forms? You're just making our life harder. To open a bank account is another story. Now,
what do you think this gap exists? Is it because of policy failure, or is it because of security protocols they have within the bank?
Well, one would be the security part of it, how the bank would secure the cost of the machine. But then the other thing is that SMEs are not looked at legitimate businesses in Fiji most of the times by the bank. when you go to them, you fill this form and everything. At the end of the day, you as an SME will know the answer. It will be that you're not getting one. Now, we don't really know where the exact fault lies in the banking system, but we feel that the FPOS machine should be accessible to everyone, because even if a particular bank gives you the machine, the funds are going to that bank. There's no way you could be an SME that you can take the money out on the machine somehow. It's not going to happen. So we don't understand why the risk part that the bank looks at.
And then from your life in being in New Zealand and Australia, and you gave some example how they had technologies such as FPOS almost 10 years back, way before we did. How come those MSMEs in Australia and New Zealand, so is the banking policy there different to see them as a risk compared to how banks in Fiji sees us as a risk?
I really fail to understand that part. These banks are from overseas. They should have a better exposure and risk management. And obviously they've seen what we are facing, they've seen it earlier in the days for them. But it's a, you can say it's a black spot, which we as business owners don't understand. And as even in IT, I don't understand anymore that why. And the truth is, a lot of times we've raised this question with the bank, and they always say it's the policy. But there's no details of the policy, and a lot of times now we've noticed they say it's the RBF. And I don't know who's not doing their work.
That's where it just ends.
Do you reckon because I have come across that term too, where they continuously blame the Reserve Bank on their policy failures? Do you think it's they're using RBF like a scapegoat for all their troubles and own innovation within their own hub?
Most of the time, every problem a bank has is faced. The answer ends with RBF is stopping us from doing this.
Yeah, but RBF isn't stopping you from giving out more FPOS machine, isn't it? They want you to give out more FPOS machine.
Surely not.
Yeah. They keep saying we're going digital, we're going cashless. But how? What have you done? We're going paperless. How? We've had this one major bank announcing, I think a couple of years ago, we are going paperless. But that bank till today, to get some facility sorted or even a request, you have to print, sign and send to the bank and physically go to that bank.
With the paper.
With that paper.
Only part that's paperless is them sending you the forms in PDF.
But you have to print that.
You have to print it and submit a hard copy.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
The hypocrisy of it. And also I don't understand certain things such as the innovation within the bank system itself. So if I can keep the most simplest example, online banking. If you look at in the context of ANZ, online banking shuts off after 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, because it goes to system upgrade. I think BSP at times in the midnight it doesn't work. There's certain banks you could not print out bank statements. You have to go physically to the bank to print an e-statement. Now some banks have implemented that on their online banking. So it feels like they're not on the same page within the same service lineup of their own self. And it's interesting because we only have one local bank, and everyone else is
so guys,
we have one from PNG,
now for the main
and
question,
we have almost three from Australia.
Access to banking system. According to RBF, there's almost 86.5% according to IMF data that has inclusiveness in the banking infrastructure. But why does the reality on the ground always looks like what you explained? Getting simple things such as access to online banking, FPOS machine system. We can even talk in the broader aspect of other financial tools such as loans and car insurance facilities and so much. Why are banking systems so exclusive of the general public and MSMEs and businesses in the commercial sector as well? What have you understood in this reality?
In my view, um, starting a business in Fiji right now is easy. Getting it registered and getting your VAT number and everything. But banking is a question. Now, in I don't know how the inclusive figure comes on board. But if you go to any small shop, um, any small shop, market, and ask them about FPOS machine, and they look at you with you've spoken some different language. And I when I started the business again, going back, we were pretty much dealing with checks, and then this whole um, shop discussion came about. When we had the shop, then we realized that how difficult it is to get an FPOS machine. We're just starting a shop, right? Now, if I'm banking with a particular bank and they have the FPOS system and the FPOS machine, I don't understand why they would want us to fill this 15-page form asking for our equities and what's the annual sales and all these questions of 15 pages. I really don't understand that part. And it's funny that if I'm using a particular bank's FPOS machine, the money is coming into that bank. It's not coming to me directly, or it's not diverting into somewhere else. So why are they so secretive, or why are they so holding back onto their machines? ROI to the bank, you're already charging $35 a month per machine. That's $350 a machine. If a vendor has used it for 3 years, you're looking at about $1,800 for the machine. You've covered the machine cost. So on what basis you make us fill these forms? You're just making our life harder. To open a bank account is another story. Now,
What do you think this gap exists? Is it because of policy failure, or is it because of security protocols they have within the bank?
Well, one would be the security part of it, how the bank would secure the cost of the machine. But then the other thing is that SMEs are not looked at legitimate businesses in Fiji most of the times by the bank. When you go to them, you fill this form and everything. At the end of the day, you as an SME will know the answer. It will be that you're not getting one. Now, we don't really know where the exact fault lies in the banking system, but we feel that the FPOS machine should be accessible to everyone, because even if a particular bank gives you the machine, the funds are going to that bank. There's no way you could be an SME that you can take the money out of the machine somehow. It's not going to happen. So we don't understand why the risk part that the bank looks at.
And then from your life in being in New Zealand and Australia, and you gave some example how they had technology such as FPOS almost 10 years back, way before we did. How come those MSMEs in Australia and New Zealand, so is the banking policy there different to see them as a risk compared to how banks in Fiji sees us as a risk?
I really fail to understand that part. These banks are from overseas. They should have a better exposure and risk management. And obviously they've seen what we are facing. They've seen it earlier in the days for them. But it's a, you can say it's a black spot, which we as business owners don't understand. And as even in IT, I don't understand anymore that why. And the truth is, a lot of times we've raised this question with the bank, and they always say it's the policy. but there's no details of the policy, and a lot of times now we've noticed they say it's the RBF, and I don't know who's not doing their work.
That's where
Is
it
it-
just ends.
Do you reckon because I have come across that term too, where they continuously blame the Reserve Bank on their policy failures? Do you think it's they're using RBF like a scapegoat for all their troubles and own innovation within their own hub?
Most of the time. Most of the time, every problem a bank has is faced. The answer ends with RPF is stopping us from doing this.
Yeah, but RBF isn't stopping you from giving out more EPOS machine, isn't it? They want you
Surely
to give
not.
out more EPOS
Yeah.
machine.
Surely not.
Yeah. They keep saying we're going digital, we're going cashless, but how? What have you done? We're going paperless. How? We've had this one major bank announcing, I think, a couple of years ago, we are going paperless. But that bank till today, to get some facility sorted or even a request, you have to print, sign, and send to the bank, and physically go to that bank
With the paper.
with that paper.
Only part that's paperless is them sending you the
Yeah.
forms in PDF.
But you have to print that.
You have to print it and
Yeah.
submit a hard copy.
That's how it works.
The hypocrisy of it. And also, I don't understand certain things such as the innovation within the bank system itself. So, if I can keep the most simplest example, online banking. If you look at in the context of ANZ, online banking shuts off after 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, because it goes to system upgrade. I think BSP at times in the midnight it doesn't work. There's certain banks could not print out bank statements. You have to go physically to the bank to print an e-statement. Now some banks have implemented that on their online banking. So it feels like they're not on the same page within the same service lineup of their own self. And it's interesting because we only have one local bank, and everyone else is foreign. We have one from PNG, and we have almost 3 from Australia. So where is the mistakes and the problems happening?
That's a good question. The banks from overseas have seen the market overseas. They know what's out there. But why they bring it not to Fiji is something.
The portal, I think, the international banks we're talking about, out of which I've seen two of the banks portal in Australia, while I was in Brisbane. It's so much better than what we're using in Fiji. So much better. And since they are part of them, we don't know why the local banks are not either upgrading or not using the same infrastructure, public infrastructure. I mean, for public to access those infrastructure. It's a question which has raised my mind and my mind has fought with me on multiple times when talking to the banks. Why? While on this online banking, and I would say we have used Breadbank app. Perfect. I must say. The best part, they've got 2 different apps.
Yeah.
One to manage business, one to manage personal. Whereas there's some particular banks in Fiji, they've got only one app. You have to log out from personal, log into business. Log out from business, log into personal. Now how do you do multitask?
Yeah.
And that same bank in Australia and New Zealand has a different concept, business and a normal customer app. Why?
I also remember Breadbank was one of the first bank where you can directly send money to M-Pesa, recharge your phones.
And quick.
Yeah, you can. I do a lot of international imports, and my biggest headache because I've been a loyal banker with BSP, had his own share of troubles. But simple things as when I'm doing foreign transfer and I have to attach the remittance invoice, the commercial invoice for reference. I have to do the payment, take screenshot of my payment which I done through their system, go back to my email and tag at least 3 people who are in charge of international remittance, CC them in, attach my payment slip that I'm doing this payment and here's the commercial invoice, email them in the gazillion emails they must be getting. I'm in there till the transaction approves. Where I jump back to Bread Bank, from the day one you can attach your, right from your online banking, you can attach your PDF. So simple technologies are failing, but when you have talked to this bank on these simple things to be implemented, what kind of explanation have they given to you? Is it really that technical to attach a PDF or download a PDF or manage different balances? Is it like really that technical they can roll out, or is it too much approval process required?
Well, from the technical aspect, it shouldn't be that difficult, right? But when you talk to the banks, well, their answer is that it's coming. But when is the biggest question?
And RBF recently rolled out the national payment system, and it has its multi-phases. Some of the examples we have seen is the bank to wallet, wallet to bank, the instant settlements and remittance. Do you reckon the national payment system has delivered its needs, or did they just address a fraction of the problem?
I think it's just a fraction of the problem. I guess there's some control over some payment. Not some actually, there's control over payments moving back and forth, which is a good thing by RBI. I think it's a great initiative. Should have been done a long time ago.
Do you think the policy was like more of a tick in a box, or has that actually addressed the larger MSME issue?
Well, I think it's addressed a lot of issues. Generally, moving funds from bank to bank to wallets, wallets to bank. I think it's done a great job for its purpose. But like I said, I think it came at a very later stage when the world has moved into all sorts of banking stuff. We've got well, around the world there are so many payment providers coming about. Look at Australia and New Zealand, they've got so many different switches, exchange switches for banks. And for Fiji, there is no independent, or there is no single switch. You are always at the mercy of a bank, a sponsor bank, because the policies run like that. And even to get access to those banks, it's like hitting your head to a stone. It's not going to break. You'll start bleeding, but it's not going to make a difference on it, because they don't look at you as an innovator, or they don't look at how this would solve a lot of problems, because they know that if they share a little bit of the market, their profits go down. There's one instance where I was fighting for SMEs during COVID, and I had a lot of traction. Personally, I was fighting with a lot of banks, and for e-commerce, because obviously COVID-19 people wanted to go online, and it was a matter of urgency. Banks could have come on board with RBF, with public, with SMEs, and tell everyone, we're giving out temporary e-commerce platforms at an affordable rate, and let's get this going. No one did. They all came on board. Well, not all. I should say one of them came on board pretty much towards the end of COVID. What's the use now?
And the biggest problem is internet banking back then during COVID was only provided by 2 banks.
Yeah.
So it was more like non-existent. What has been out there in other countries.
And if you're not partnered
yes.
with those two banks, you're completely excluded from the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
have
then-
to have a commercial account with them. a
And then
business
the
account.
issue was just to get online internet banking, IPG, would cost you a bond of $10,000 to $12,000 to get on board. Whereas in overseas, there is no such thing, because that system also works the same way, that the funds will go into the bank account that the bank holds. That's one other major issue in Fiji, where IPGs, internet payment gateways, are more like non-existent. If you-
One other thing about internet payment gateway, why is it that requires a bond? I understand it's because of security reasons, but then but help me understand from the bank. I know we haven't interviewed a bank officer. Help me understand, how does overseas bank manages that security risk compared to our local bank is doing?
It's a reversal. It's a security in terms of reversal. Sometimes
Customers end up saying that we haven't done this transaction.
we haven't
Yeah.
received or this
And
transaction.
how does the two banks in two countries manage it? Like, I understand the Fiji's one is that security bond will be your what they're gonna
Well,
use it in, but overseas.
Normally, they in overseas it goes through the banking process. We're not sure how it goes. We haven't explored that side. But in Fiji, recently I've had a chargeback for something, and the customer claims that she was not at an event, but her ticket was checked in.
Hmm.
But lucky we had a check-in process, so I could say that she did appear in the event. Now imagine if she bought food online.
Never ate the food.
No, the question is she got the food.
Yeah.
But she's
And-
proving to say she never went.
Oh,
So
true.
how do we go about? So, I mean, the bank I'm dealing with, they send you an email back and forth.
You get time to
I've-
prove your side.
Is the
I've had a time to prove myself.
is the dispute process with banks
Well, the bank we
smooth?
work, the bank we work with, yes. But that same bank with another vendor providing food service, he's had bad experience.
Yep.
So I think that also matters on what industry you're part of. But yes, this chargeback thing is getting common in Fiji. People buy the ticket, and because they've got the QR, they try and charge back. And previously, we've had the same bank automatically try to do a chargeback, and we stopped it. Because we told them that you need to notify because we need to cancel that ticket. So there are people who try that.
Yeah.
And I think security bond goes under that. But again,
The amount.
the amount is a very substantial amount, 12 grand. Now, if I'm SME, I've just put in all my money into my stock, my rental, and starting a business. I mean, maybe $1,000, $2,000 is reasonable enough for me to put a bond towards my e-commerce platform, because obviously e-commerce platforms have gone from several $1,000s. You can go down to about start an e-commerce shop for less than $2,000, or things like use a ready-made one, Shopify.
All you have to do is just
WooCommerce.
put your payment stuff in and
Yeah.
start.
So, I mean, things need to be affordable. SMEs don't look big, but if you put them in one group, they are big.
It's a large portion of the business.
Yeah, almost 80%.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to know also is that you guys are from technical backgrounds, you have tech experience. Now, what about another business who is running basic tourism or basic operation? Not so in tech background, they do understand how the payment system works, but when chargeback happens and fraud happens on this website or during the payment system, if they're not technical, they don't have the technical ability to debate back with the bank, like how you guys had proved that, oh, this person did check into the event, so she was there. But I did not have that system, and these chargeback claims were done. What happens then? Does the bank actually train the vendor on these kind of matters? Like, this is how you safeguard yourself and safeguard us?
I haven't experienced that.
But then that will happen, right? Because as Fiji getting more tech savvy, more financial
Well,
system
then
comes
yeah,
in.
maybe that bond goes towards that.
Yeah.
Right, chargeback is anyway the reversal of the transaction anyway. So I guess if you've bought food for maybe $200 and you've eaten it and then you decide to do chargeback, yes, that 200 is coming back out from the vendor to you, right? So again, where is that $5,000 or $12,000 in security?
The bond amount doesn't justify against what type of transaction. It should be a case by case situation where if your transactions are big, then you can be asked to put a bigger bond. But if you're only selling food worth 30, 40 or maybe up to $500, why do you need a $12,000 bond?
And
See,
yeah.
In very simple, I just had an idea now. You're giving out checkbooks. They were giving out checkbooks.
Yes.
There's no bond for that, right? So maybe you had a check of $300, and you had a checkbook. You shut down your company. You still have the checkbook with you, but you've come to my shop and purchased something for $300.
Taken the item, gone away, flared.
Yeah. The bank hasn't done anything between you and the bank. It's a very similar. It's not the same, but it's a similar concept.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when the check, you go deposit the check, the check will bounce.
Yes.
And it will be your job to find out where that customer went.
Where the
I've
bank
had
doesn't
that
take any
experience.
responsibility for
I've
that.
had that experience too.
What we are saying is, if you go, for example, if you go to Australia or New Zealand, you sign up to Stripe. There is no such thing. All you have to do is just sign up, put in all your information, make sure, prove that you're a legitimate business, goes through a process. Once it's on, the IPG starts working.
Yeah,
You're ready to go.
There's another one too. Very
Check to out. There's so many out
check,
there.
Yeah. Check to out, check to go, say check to out, and then there's Stripe. Stripe is still common. There's a lot of people in Fiji using Stripe,
But they obviously have to route it.
but they're
somehow.
routing their money through Fiji, through New Zealand, Australia, and then coming back to Fiji.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no choice. Because
We have no choice.
And so I don't know. Regulation without enforcement is just decoration. So is RBF regulating the banks in terms of safeguarding and protecting businesses, or is that the only safeguard banks have come up with? We'll just slap the bond on, and that's the only thing.
No, I think the RBF is.
We wouldn't really have an answer to that. But
Yeah.
No, but from everything on the national payment channel and all this payment access to finance bill, all these bills that are getting pushed, do you think it is actually addressing the issue, or it will create a wider gap of and grow this problem?
I don't think I will be able to comment on that at all, because to a certain extent, I'll be very honest, I've stopped following that side. Especially when they say banks are supposed to do this, or we're coming up with a bank, because again, that's just, for me it feels like it's policies.
True.
What's it there for us as business owners, as innovators, as people who can do new things?
what happens on the ground?
What happens on the ground? It's totally different. Look at the 5 year, last 5 years. Policies over policies over policies over policies over policies. What changes have you seen at the ground level?
In terms of finance? To be honest, actually the only push was M-Paisa, but other than that, nothing much. The needs and access to finance to operate a business is still remains the same.
That's a great product, but why was it taken up so easily?
Huge government push and effort.
No, it's easy to use.
No, yeah, true.
You don't need to fill that forms.
Oh yeah.
It's a one-pager form.
Yeah.
Right.
A link to your phone number, which is already
It's linked to
registered.
your phone number, it's registered. Yes, we have backside, like disadvantage of things like forgery happening behind the scene, we got hacking. But it's so easy to adopt. It's accessible.
You as a user can sign up using your phone. The
And start
business
collecting.
merchant just needs a one-pager form, And prove your.
I was at an event yesterday. Day before yesterday. It was a school fundraiser event, and the students were collecting. They were selling sizzles and popcorn and all the savories and beverages, and we saw everyone's collecting money on M-Pesa.
Yeah.
Now why on M-Pesa? It's accessible. The bank should have done this long time ago.
The thing
Then our children, our future generation, if we don't do anything, they won't understand banking. And that's what's happening. If you go to a lot of places, they understand QR and M-Pesa better than banks. And you tell them, why M-Pesa? Or they say, it's easy. Why not use a bank card? They say, oh, I have to go to the bank, open an account, they need my birth certificate, they need this kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. And recently I did some inquiry, and I asked the bank how soon can you open a bank account? And they said, it's very easy. Okay, send me the forms. And those forms are still on my table. And I said, I've got one bank account since I was a student. I haven't had the chance to open another one. Well, no, sorry, I'll take that back. I've got two accounts. One is with Bread Bank. When they opened in Fiji, they were opening accounts at the doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in with your birth certificate, and I think a TIN letter. But other banks, it's so difficult. And then they say minimum deposit,
Source of income.
all sorts of income.
even the harder part is if you have a bank account with one particular bank and you want to open another one, you still have to go and stand in the line, wait for so long. Why can't you do it through online banking? Because they already have all your information. To open your account in the same bank will require you to take your birth certificate, your TIN letter, source of income, everything again. Why making banking so hard?
Now, something the banks is investing in such infrastructure is expensive. But look at one of the largest bank in Fiji, BSP. They have recorded record profit and growth in the industry, out of all the other banks operating in the country. So that means the system's working. They have the clientele. They're getting the money in. They have the margins to invest in the infrastructure, which is so outdated. But there's no push on the ground. And what's your thoughts and opinion on that compared to what you have seen in the fintech space?
Maybe they're saying if it's working,
Why?
why touch it? If it's not broken, why fix it?
Because that's another.
And
It's not
I
an
mean,
Because the margin is still gonna remain the same even if you don't fix it.
And it's not an inconvenience to the bank.
Yeah.
It's the inconvenience to the people. It doesn't matter looking at it.
and everybody is
That's
like,
monopoly talk, isn't it?
not monopoly. I would say if all of them are sitting like, if you say ki, let's say if everybody says we're not going online forms, meaning you can't open a bank account online, 100% online by your TIN number and whatever. I mean they would have their own KYC, right? And all the banks decide that, nah, we're not going to do it. Let them come to us.
What are you going to do about it? Right?
As much as we see even Consumer Council and what's the other one? FCCC. I mean, the banks, the way it feels, the banks are behind the scene. They're all, let's say,
Having a discussion that, oh, this is what we're doing.
this is what we do. That's how it feels from the outside. We don't know what's the truth behind it. But I mean, could it be they are too big to be tackled by these organizations?
The little guys.
Yeah, no, I mean this FCCC and Commerce
Oh,
Commission.
yeah, true. I mean, that's a topic we're gonna come to it soon. One thing I think our general public also wants to understand from outside, and I believe we'll have conversation with Vodafone and others down the road. Uh, Formalization sometimes feels threatening and burdensome. So I believe FRC has recently made M-Pesa mandatory to have TIN numbers. They are monitoring more businesses to be VMS compliant, uh, operating businesses to get commercial bank account. What's your thought on it as business operators? That do you think by formalizing yourself with taxes and stuff, is it a problem and an issue that will arise because all of a sudden you have to do all these expenses because being VMS compliant is a high upfront cost, but lots of businesses are avoiding that. They'd rather operate with their personal bank account. I just want the general public to understand on what's your thought.
We'll make this one very short. It seems it's a very broad topic, right? And I would be in this spot of a conflict of interest.
True.
I'll make myself very clear, because we've got idle POS and we've got other POS products in the market. But I look at it in a way that a lot of times our clients say, can we have online reporting, cloud reporting, right? Why is it expensive? Why can't we get cloud, right? So I'm talking infrastructure side at the moment. When you go cloud, it's expensive, number one, right? If you go offline, it's also expensive. Good softwares are not cheap, right? So offline is expensive, particularly because when there's a change by the tax department, we have to do it for individual people sitting with, let's say if I've got 900, well, I've got about 1500 units sitting in the market and they're all using offline, right? Changing policies, changing numbers to those things, or changing small VMS stuff, we need a manpower. Who's paying for that? Tax department doesn't. We don't get rebate either.
Customers don't want to pay.
Customers don't want to pay. How is this going to work? That development has costed us. Yes, with AI, it's not costing us so much. But to update these 1,000 machines sitting in the market, it's not a magic wand, right? So, and these offline machines, they say the reason they buy it, internet is not good. So what's your options if your internet's not good? You can't go cloud.
Yeah.
Now, let's go cloud. Cloud are cheaper software. But that's recurring cost. Then you don't want to pay for that either. Right? So these are two current scenarios. Then we talk about infrastructure. Now, anything falling on infrastructure, internet, downtime, internet itself, card readers, they are not in our control. That's controlled, card readers are controlled by Inland Revenue. Cards maybe, yes, I sell them. But they'll try and sell you the first instance, right? So, yes, this thing will cost. But then, now we've taken a different approach. Any software you buy, you want cloud reporting. Everyone's asking, sign up to VMS. You log into their portal, you get access to most of the reporting, your income, pretty much. So isn't it a good thing? Then with that, if you're paying fully in taxes, your books are ready up to date, right? Your banking is up to date. When everything's up to date, tomorrow when you want to expand your business, you've got a history of banking, you've got your balance sheets, you've got now you're not running after everything just because you've got a client who says, I'm going to invest with you for maybe $1 million, or let's say $100,000, but I need to see your books for the last 3 years. At least you're aligned.
Bringing these things in.
He would want to see your sales. Let's say even if your balance sheet is not ready, your accounts are not ready, but he would want to see your sales on a daily basis. So instead of sitting on taking out those manual receipts, Excel, and putting it into Excel, you're just clicking it one button and the guy sitting right there with you and you say here.
Yeah.
So isn't it good? That's something to think about. We've been in business. When we registered, I had no idea on VAT, zero idea. So we were filing our VAT returns every 3 months. But then I thought in December, when I knew my VAT was all up to date, they were not right, because my first month was February, so I was calculating
We both are not from
finance background.
finance background, so we
So-
just took it that from Feb, you take 3 months and you file.
Uh,
We didn't know there was
a
a
quarterly.
They're supposed to be a quarterly thing.
Yeah.
So then they called us, they said you haven't done your VAT properly in this. We went back
they
and
told
we
us
explained them properly. We don't come from finance background, yet we need your help. This is in 2010. I didn't have uniforms and I walked in with shorts and flip-flops on a Thursday with him, and we sat down and we explained her our situation. The lady, her name is Deepika or something, and she understood our situation and she took out 1.5 hours trying to explain us how to go about doing this, and we've paid VAT ever since. So now when VMS comes on board, if I'm not hiding anything and I've got a system there, why am I worried? The question is why am I worried? People have come to us, "Oh, I pay my VAT 100% correct." And when we talk about the VMS, oh, that thing is waste of money, it shouldn't be this.
it's just making it all aligning
So-
that documentation is easier
Yeah.
for the business.
So you're buying maybe a $200,000 car, which is on a depreciating, it's not going to earn you revenue, no records, it's going to take you from A to B. But that same person is fighting with us saying VAT is going to be, VMS is going to be abolished.
Or it's
So-
too expensive.
It's too expensive. How do we explain this? I'm talking like, a lot of POS vendors would agree to us that sometimes it's very difficult for us to explain to people that yes, VMS is just an add-on to our product. We are selling you our product, but just because yes, it's VMS compliant, you're looking for a product, our product is compliant. But the advantage is yours. When you start seeing figures that you can sell for a small restaurant, you start seeing, I'm selling very little chili chicken on Monday, or and I'm selling a lot of chili chicken on a Friday and Saturday. So why am I stocking up so much on Monday?
Or what's selling more,
Yeah.
what's selling less. Everything is
VMS
there, right?
VMS is just an add-on. Inland Avenue doesn't want to know that you made profit on this chili chicken. In my view, they want to know that if you're charging that 12.5% in VAT, that's not your money. It's their money. Give it to them.
It's something they are supposed to get end of the day,
Yeah.
and they are only asking for what.
What
they're
is their share of the?
Yeah. They are not asking for
Transaction.
anything more.
They don't know that you made $10 on the bottle of beer, or you made. They don't care about all this. It's a good product, and it will help you
Grow your business
grow
on
your
a later
business
stage,
at the end of the day.
because that's verified
Data, yeah.
That
Tomorrow you could say, I got this report from Inland Avenue. That's my sales report from Inland Avenue website.
nobody can deny.
Who will say no? I'm not going to accept it.
Exactly.
Right?
So one of the things, like on lots of businesses, they do digitalize and there's cost to it. And one thing I always never understood about banks, despite being very heavily cash operated because they don't have the tap and pay system and the transaction system and stuff, they already have a cost and they're already charging us. When we do online bank transfer, they're charging us 40 cents, 50 cents. So why not? And then even if they come with new digital payment system, tap and pay, NFC, Visa, debit cards, they're still charging us the same. I don't understand why don't banks invest in both? Since you're gonna bill us anyway, why not move to the digital part of accessibility as well? Since systems like VMS and stuff, we are paying for it regardless. So why not have other services aligned?
be their call.
I guess for the banks, it's always been that if it's working,
If it's working, why do it?
why do it?
But then it will only like what's your thought on it? Like because I'm like it will increase their revenue generation even more because there'll be more fees and transactions and whatnot.
That would be a question to the banks, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a very legit question to have a discussion with the banks and pretty much um, RBF and the bank sitting on the same floor.
On the same table.
Guys, I wanted to talk about the local fintechs. We have a couple of players in the space. Of course, without criticizing, I would love your honest feedback from tech perspective as users, myself included. What are some of the shortfalls? I understand the innovation part, M-Paisa with this MasterCard, now with Tap and Pay, huge amount of bill access. MyCash also had the easy accessibility. Now they also have reward system. Sole has huge multinational diaspora community using the platform to pay family members. The positives are always there, but I would always look at sometimes the negative and the shortfalls. What is one thing you would love to see being addressed in the local fintech? We'll go one after another. In the local fintech space, in with these big players, and what are still some old systems and they still haven't addressed. Vimal, I'll start.
I think the front end is great for all of them. Personally, I haven't used MyCash and so I'm gonna keep them out of the conversation. But with M-Pesa in particular, their whole merchant side of things, I think it needs a lot of improvement. Um,
Could you pick some specific examples?
Very currently, my account is locked.
Your
Access
merchant.
merchant
Oh.
and it's difficult. You email them, and then they send you a temporary password themselves, and then you log in, and then you get access again. It's been locked twice. So with this modern world of um, OTP and forgetting password and email verification, KYC, why can't it be automatic? Is the question. Simplest thing. Then I think the whole statement part, one year, which I think they've addressed after seeing it on social media blowing up. I did also blow up one particular problem on social media after raising a couple of times, and it happened as soon as I raised it. Was privacy. Before, my concern was that the whole numbers used to show up on merchant portals, on point of sale terminals. I raised it a couple of times. It didn't happen. Then I had to take the social media to address this, and it happened pretty much within 24 hours. That the first 4 digits are masked. Why did I do this? I had a family member who used her M-Pesa to pay at a supermarket. The next thing we know, this is a true story. The next thing we know that the manager of the supermarket started messaging that particular person. And we were wondering how, and then out of the name, we did some research through Facebook and Instagram, and we knew he was part of one of the major supermarkets. I mean, I couldn't tackle the supermarket because it's not their fault. But these things should have been thought.
True.
Right. Another thing is a little bit on the front end. I'm sending you money through number. A lot of times, yes, the number is good if we're not together. Wouldn't be it easy that I scan your QR, I send you the money, and you get it? I mean, the basic things. Third one, the narration. Yes, it's a great thing that I've given you loan. I'm putting a narration, but the narration shows nowhere in my backend.
I was gonna say that. I've noticed that too.
So these tiny things These are important for us as customers, right? Us as merchants. And it's just important for everything else. Just makes our life easier. Thirdly, if you sit down with that long list, it's so hard to sit down and tick off everything. Yes, we receive this, we receive this, we receive this. So on the merchant side, it's hard, and you're charging, right? You've somehow got into the space where the merchants are not supposed to charge the customers those fees you are charging. 3% or whatever your charges are. Do you know there are some items in the supermarket which operate on 4 to 5% margins? You've taken the 3% already. So you've almost hit his pocket. And we can't charge that to the client, to the customer sitting in the front. Another example I'll give you is it's a little bit contradictory. I'm going to do a little bit more research on this. Tap and pay. I had a $16 bill somewhere and I paid $16.40 because I used 40 cents. 40 cents was my fee here. But then the merchant on the other side is going to get charged to use that credit card as well.
And will their fee be 40 cents or is it going to be 3%?
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I paid 40 cents to M-Pesa here to use that MasterCard. Now, on that $16, well, the receipt was $16 I paid. That. On the other hand, I don't know how much the fee is going to be charged on the other end. Or who's going to charge on the other end?
Divesh, what are some of the things you have identified, maybe from a bit more on the technical side of things?
Well, from the technical side of the thing, mostly the documentation is not available. If you look at any other payment gateway anywhere in the world, documentations are always published on their website, easy access to everybody to have. I think the documentation and changes they make to the system need to be available publicly so developers actually know what's going on, not in the sense when something doesn't work, we go back and that's when they say, oh, we've made these changes, you need to make these changes.
I have faced that a lot of times with the APIs.
Yeah. That's
right? It never gets notified to the operator.
Yeah, for example, we were finishing off one development. We actually finished it off. We handed over to the customer, and then we had some issues with the customer, and then we rectified those issues with Vodafone, and that's when they said that the old payment gateway system for M-Pesa is being phased out, and there's a new one. And that's when we got the documentation, not publicly available or maybe a notification email that something's changing. So in that sense, if documentation and technical information would be available on a proper website, because why would you want to hide it? It's for the public, so make it available so any developer could always be up to date with the document. For us, it became a project that was handed over. We had to go back and work for it at our cost, where Vodafone doesn't subsidize anything on that.
So I believe Vimal said one of the example like an innovation or upfront new feature you would love to see is a QR based system, so we don't have to punch in phone numbers.
Yes.
I believe Bread Bank already has that with their
Yes.
online banking. What other things would you love to see be addressed or change or brought in? It would really help us
Well,
tremendously. It could be a good feedback for the phone.
I'll add a little bit on Divesh. Divesh, right? The API availability. What's so secret behind it? It should be available. You go to Wincave, you go to Stripe, you go to ASB New Zealand, you go to ANZ Australia, you go to PayPal, you go to any bank. Most of the banks are on the Pacific, right? Australia, New Zealand. All API is pretty much available. Why are we keeping everything secret? I mean, for anything. For sending our payment for payroll, very secret file. You have to be our customer. We'll give you the
Access
access. Not forget the access.
format.
Format. We'll give you the format if you are our customer for payroll file. For API, you have to be our customer. Then we sign a non-disclosure. Okay, let's say we'll sign a non-disclosure. You have to be our customer to use our API. I mean, if you keep it open, there are so many developers in Fiji, and I mind you not. We have good developers, very good, and we don't have these cheeky developers who is going to try and hack your system. And even if they do find vulnerabilities,
They'll come back to you and tell you.
and you can run programs, right? And like ANZ, BSP, Westpac, whoever the banks are. Why don't you run these vulnerability test programs, which other banks do in overseas? It's good for you. You might find resources to employ. So the whole secrecy of banks in Fiji, I don't understand.
Like for example, a few weeks back, uh, I met a team of developers. They're making a great product for Fiji, right? They come up with a great product. The biggest hurdle they have right now is nobody. They don't know anybody at Vodafone in Digicel or uh, banks to provide the payment gateway information. So they're stuck at that place. Whereas if it would be available publicly, they would have finished development of their product and would have been testing. If they came up with a problem, they would have obviously approached the provider that, oh, your system has these vulnerabilities, you might want to address it in that form. But because the information is not publicly available, they are still awaiting. When I met them, they were awaiting for documentation. So I happened to have them on my email, and I forwarded to them because it's nothing you need to hide.
And plus, once you have more developers, more players in the space,
More
there'll
access,
be
yeah.
More
products.
innovation, more innovation.
More products.
Why are we limited? Look at India. So many kinds of wallet. Look at Asia. So many kinds of wallet. And look at their wallets. They're not wallets where we have to transfer money into. It's wallet to wallet, bank to bank. So all
Just
their wallets
taps in and out of the bank.
their wallets are connected to their banks directly. Money is flowing from bank to a wallet to out. Right now we are trying to fight one scenario, simple scenario. If I'm a business, I'm using a QR code. I'm paying commission on every QR payment. Whereas the guy sitting at the corner shop, he's using his number.
No charges.
No charges. So, you know, I mean, let's come up with a very simple system. I don't understand why did you want to segregate or break this apart and make it complex when the system itself should be simple, adoptable. You've made a very adoptable system. That's why you've got the numbers sitting with you, right? And pay some cash and so on. But make it unified. We are the one of the countries where everything comes business. It's the same product. This cup could be for business, he's buying for $1, and for consumer, he's buying at 95 cents. That's exactly what's happening for most of the products. We as businesses are sometimes buying products at a much more expensive rate than consumers.
Yep.
Especially services.
And then for businesses, there's so many other costs attached to it, right?
Yeah.
Overhead costs.
Why can't we just have one single playing field?
And you guys brought up the overseas players such as Stripe, PayPal, right? A lot of time, the public, other merchants have always asked, why aren't these players in Fiji? Why can't we get access to it? Banks have said Reserve Bank has been blocking them, which Reserve Bank came publicly and said this is a completely false claim. Reserve Bank does not block these guys from operating. It's their choice. So can you at least explain to the public why we don't have platforms like PayPal and Stripe operating in the country?
I strongly believe it could be sponsor banks.
Yeah, because to bring a payment gateway into the country,
You need
a bank needs to approach particular payment gateway. But we, as from the technical side, feel that in Fiji, whenever payment gateways are built by the bank, they make it from scratch. They don't want to go and bring a third party one in. For a developer, that's more harder to adapt to than to have something that's available online that we can test and get used to, than to go and develop to a totally new payment gateway that was made from the ground up. I think it's the banks that need to make that choice, that why don't we just go and bring somebody that's already in the market? For example, WinCave, Westpac. Westpac is using WinCave, and for a developer to integrate to WinCave is easy. Everything's available online. You contact WinCave, they give you everything you want. And once you're done, when you're ready, that's when you go to the bank onboarding. Right now, for other banks, you have to go on board first and start testing most of the time with a live account.
And you also have to have that all that security and everything also done to get access to those.
Yes, with WinCave it's pretty easy. They handle everything.
They handle the security aspect of it.
Which is kinda, I think it's very good. The gateway people are handling it. Whereas with other banks, I have not really seen it, but due to one bank, I lost one customer.
Yeah, because
their documentation, like going back to API and documentation, right? Their API was their documentation wasn't up to date. So we had a big client, a hotel client. So and he came on board to use our property management solution, which was booking and everything. So he had his own booking engine and all that stuff. So he said, let's. I had my WinCave done, I had my ANZ done. Yet he was a PSP customer, and the documentation wasn't up to date. I eventually lost the customer because we couldn't finish the development for that
the time difference with the developers
in a certain period. We went, I think, 3 months into it.
And the customer left.
And the customer left. He stopped using my service, particularly because that was the main reason he was onboarding with him. But then we don't know what he used after that. But the thing is, again, going back to documentation, API information, let's make it available. If I've integrated to your bank, and this is to any bank, if I've integrated to you, to your bank, my integration is done. Now, obviously, because the documentation was available. Now, when I'm going live, where do I go for the live credentials? I come to you.
Yeah.
If you have
so, what? Who's at advantage? No, you're at advantage. You as a bank are at an advantage. Where your documentation right now, WinCave is at an advantage because its documentation is available to public.
So when we develop products, the first integration we ever do is WinCave because it's all available.
Most developers you will see will go with WinCave first in Fiji. Then if they find issues on that side, then they'll try and jump. But the other ones are not anything less.
And the charges, is it for WinCave when compared to the other players, the fees and the rates, is it same or is it very different?
WinCave has different plans you can go into, depending on your business scale. If you're a large business, they give you a different plan, where the fees and the structure is different. If you're a small business, they give you a different plan.
Okay. I would love to hear today one of the solution you guys are working on, which is you call it one payment. I believe one of the topic we kept repeating over here is the problem with FPOS machine, and you guys are coming up with the Fiji Innovation Hub, and you guys are working on a model also under your business to come up with this product. What would it actually solve and address? And can you tell the people what one payment is and what's the key issue you have noticed and how you're solving it?
One payment is a 3-hour product. We've developed it slowly, not with the help of local banks, with pretty much the international regulators. Research
information,
whatever information we got, and we were pretty much on the dot. We did knock on some of the banks' door, and we got a lot of roadblocks. So we had put it on hold for a while. But now, after talking to Reserve Bank and the Innovation Hub, and a lot of discussion with Reserve Bank, they asked us to come on board with the Innovation Hub. And after what they've seen, they see a lot of potential to our product. Why? Because it would become a national switch. So it doesn't matter your merchant finance or just a new bank coming on board. If you provide us with the protocols, we'll connect it to your bank. You don't have to go out of your way to set up an infrastructure for the FPOS machines. Now, another advantage to that would be that we're not gonna differentiate between SME, micro SME, medium, large, anybody. You need machines, we'll give you machines.
As long as you can prove you're a legit business.
You're a legit business. You have a business account. You have your KYC is up to date, right? Why do I need to worry about your equity? Right? The more you money, the more you use my machine, the more advantage I have, the more advantage your settlement bank is.
And it's all legit because it goes to a legit bank account.
Yeah. It's not coming directly in the form of withdrawing cash somewhere along the line, or you can't spoof it out. It's going to a bank. So we want to make this FPOS or one payment product a universal product. It's based on universal protocols. So it's not that we've reinvented the wheel for Fiji only. It's based on a universal protocol and all standards. So once you sign up, you've got a bank account with any other bank.
For example, let's put HFC an example who does not currently offer an FPOS service.
So you could come to us and say, I have a settlement account which is HFC. Can I have 5 machines? You're most welcome. So it'll depend on your tier. We're trying to come up with a tier which is affordable. We're still working out pricing, but again, we'll try and make it affordable. Right? Then with that, now all of a sudden you say, I want, we'll accept QR. We're trying to accept QR. Master, Visa, all proprietary cards.
So we're phasing it out in the sense that we will have an FPOS that settles to all bank first, so it equals the playing field for a bank that does not offer FPOS service. And we will accept all sorts of cards. We are also in the phase of accepting things like Union Pay and other providers, JCP, or sort. So you come, you get a machine, you have a settlement account, you swipe, it settles into your account, right? The other things that non-existent in Fiji is once the settlement happens, how do you go and reconcile that settlement right now using that small receipt that comes out of the machine itself? What we're doing is we're taking that whole approach digital.
So like a web admin login.
Yeah.
You'll
see your individual machine, right? Settlement of those machines.
Every transaction
routing through that machine and where that settlement happens.
That's really good for a business owner who has multiple stores, can sit in one place, and then
the finance team can only sit in the office and see everything.
Every shop and then there's FPOS machines.
And then this way, this kind of system will give space to more innovators by connecting their ERP to our system, where you don't have to go and do your bill payment. Right now, if I'm doing a payment for any utility, I'm doing that payment. At the same time, I have to send that screenshot or something to that utility company. Then it'll get updated. But again, we're living on the 22nd century, pretty much, right? Where we got cards on our phone. Everything is on our phone. I don't carry a wallet. Yet, why do we have to manually adjust? Our ERP system we are selling. We've gone into this place where if you've done your payment, your invoice is updated on the spot. You log into the system, the statement is there, right? And we're not that large scale utility company. So if you say we can't find resources in terms of employees, why are we not going into this direction? To automate
more work.
We're creating more work on a daily basis for everybody. So with our product, once you get this whole, if the flow and this product works in the market, we've seen on the hub, there's another product
There's there's a few products
Yeah, which
that
will
would
depend on us.
depend on us.
There's one product which will help the utility company to get their settlement sorted properly.
That means if I'm seeing from a just a normal business owner, right? So if I can put some context here for the general public to understand, Marriott, where they sell mangoes, a lot of heavily tourist attractive place. Lots of foreign tourists come to buy mangoes and whatnot. That means you're saying I can pay a couple of $100 depending what the price of the machine is. Like maybe let's just say $300 or $400. I buy that machine. I can, as a mango seller on the street side, I can actually have
Why not?
a
If
card
your,
payment system.
if your
Why not?
KYC is legit, you will be able to have a machine. That's what we're trying to
I
do
was.
here.
We were in Singapore.
Now we went to China a couple
China.
years back, and he wanted to buy watermelon off the
On
street.
cash.
And the guy selling watermelon didn't accept cash because he had his whole FPOS thing sorted.
He said, card. I took out my MasterCard, boom.
And the thing we need to understand is, no matter what you do, the physical cards might phase out, but the whole FPOS system
is
will
not
never
gonna
going to phase out. What's going to happen is those cards are going to be virtually available on your phones.
Yeah.
But it's not going to phase out the whole FPOS system, no matter what you do. So what we're doing is in one payment is first phase is to offer FPOS. Then phase 2 is to have dynamic QR codes also integrated part of the FPOS. And the third phase is to be able to offer internet payment gateways, IPGs, also on our platform. So it's one place, one portal, one merchant portal that handles FPOS, QR, and IPG. And making IPG accessible. Right now, IPG is more like non-existent.
Yeah.
Pretty much out of reach for many.
And then if you think about tourism, aside from coming from tourism, that Mango area, it's famous.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I'm a tourist coming from Europe and maybe not carrying so much of Fiji dollar, and Fiji dollar is not an international currency.
Yeah.
And I'm buying $5 of mango. Wouldn't it be so much convenient to just tap my card, right, and buy my mangoes? And even the merchant side, she'll be so happy that if somebody grabs and runs away with the machine, she still got the money there.
Yeah.
The money's gone to the bank, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like in terms of just digital payment itself, it's a security too.
It's a
Right? There'll
security
be nothing
side.
to steal.
Yeah, because the main thing is you go to supermarket today. Tell me a percentage of vendors in the whole supermarket accepting FPOS.
Almost close to nothing.
But
M-Pesa
doesn't
is the
exist.
M-Pesa is the closest.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if
But then theft and all that risk, they also get
Goes
super
away.
high.
yeah,
Goes away. Go to China. I always say we have a different ideology about China. Let's say economy running cashless.
digital.
Amazing. Digital. From license card to payment to ID cards to QR, dynamic QR. They have everything. Literally
They
everything.
have the solution to majority of the problem.
You go on taxi card, pay by card. You go buy anything from food vendor right down the street. It's card or QR. Literally, they've got
They
so
even
much.
have now Palm Pay.
Yeah,
They don't even, if you pay by cash, there's been scenarios where they don't have change to give back to you.
yeah. And they say sorry if you pay by cash. So they send you the money back using digital payment. Right? The world has moved away or moved with kiosks, vending machines, digital payment on parking. We've got so many other industries. We've got vendors, parking meters, parking lots,
E-transport, for an example, as well.
We've got what else? Unattended businesses, right? Palm. Where have we reached? If you draw the line, and let's say put whatever we have currently, and see what the world is evolving.
Yeah.
Where have we reached in terms of fintech? Like I said in the beginning of the show, from dial-up to 4G. and
All
Wi-Fi.
we've done is change the connection, not innovated anything.
We haven't seen. We haven't. People have gone to pay using IDs and
Yeah.
biometrics information. We haven't even gone by tapping to unattended. We don't even have a. You go Asia everywhere.
You have vending machines all over
Vending
the
machines
place.
all over the place. We have to invest in our power banks, right? In China, you don't invest in a power bank. You pick up a power bank, you tap your card, a power bank comes out, right? Then you don't have to return it in that shop. You could be in another suburb, right?
The
Totally
charges stop
different suburb.
when you put
The
it in.
charges keep coming to you every, I think, 3 minutes or 5 minutes. They keep coming to your card until you put that power bank back into the port in another suburb that could be 700 kilometers away. Why we can't get into this?
Yeah.
Unattended payment terminals are non-existent in Fiji right now.
So, where is One Payment right now? I believe you guys are part of Fiji Innovation Hub's Activator program, and you are working with Reserve Bank in facilitating. And I believe HFC might be your upcoming partnership. But where are you at this point? Because I know the audience who might be watching this might get excited about this product because it might solve a lot of problems. But are you at the stage of rollout, in conversation with banks? Are we seeing a date, or is the technology still under development?
From the technology side,
We are
we've
ready.
developed the systems, the servers, even the IPG side, the QR, everything's ready. We've done the test. There is always a certain security aspect of it that we're looking at, but that will obviously come when we start going to market. From the bank side, we are still awaiting all the banks to give us the condition.
We've had one NDA signed by HFC. There was on the day of the launch, there was a lot of interest by Bread. I'm still waiting on some information or some meeting with them. There was some more information. Actually, there was a lot of interest by Bank of Baroda. There's a lot of interest by them. There's another bank too. I can't name them because we haven't had any formal discussion.
But we've heard through other people in other banks that they would be a.
What is it you needed from the bank? Is it simple? I mean,
For now-
for non-technical people,
For
is it
now,
simple as
Just
API
a
access?
connection. Let's say
Yes.
just a connection.
We don't want to connect to their actual customer database, but obviously it's a bank, they would have
Their
testing
security.
servers
Yes,
and
yes,
stuff.
yes, yes.
We want to connect to a test server to be able to be sure that what we've built works.
Yeah, basically the reconciliation of the funds is
Yes,
smooth.
yes.
There's no
That's all.
wrong misplacement of funding.
Yes.
Like goes
No
to,
double charge.
my money goes to his bank or something
Yeah,
like that.
no double charge. How the merchant side would work, things like that. Because from what we've built till date is what's available on the internet about FPOS and how FPOS runs. We've built according to that. And as far as our research shows that 99% of the banks would be using that. So all we want to do is connect, make sure everything is in par, fine tune, iron out the last bit, and then we're ready to go
Live.
live. We have terminals arriving here next week.
Yeah.
Physical terminals that will connect, and we have we've ordered sample terminals for unattended and all sorts of different scenarios.
So, yeah, that should be. We've also had interest from some finance companies, people who are dealing with loans, and I think we've got 5 or 6 of them. Out of them, we've got 4 very interested. They said they want to become bank. They want to apply for banking license, but their concern was this side of business. Because obviously you
Because
can
there's a whole different infrastructure you need to build
Yeah,
up.
with
So-
us being there, all the banks have to do is just
That
come up
person
with
has
the
called
interchange.
me. One of the, two of the financing
For
institutes have called me in the last week about 4 times, saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Can we start testing?" And I said, "Hey, it's not ready because you need your side up and running as well. So that was from that side. Now going on the merchant side,
We've spoken to a few
we've
of them.
spoken to some really big merchants, um, and these are merchants who need 300-400 machines, and they said, you know what, you need money, we'll invest with you.
But they
And
wanna
and
come
I
on
asked them, what's the problem? And they say, what's not the problem? So the market's out there, right? Um, if if somebody doesn't do it, it's their problem, right? If like we've been saying, the banks think if the system's not broken, why fix it? So let's leave it on them. But if we can be part of innovation, why not? At the end of the day, we should be proud that we were part of this project. We did it based in Fiji, and we got it going.
It
right?
solves
the problem for
majority of the
everybody.
problem everybody is facing
That's true.
in terms of payment.
So I believe you are working with Fiji, working in the activator program at Fiji Innovation Hub. Yeah, for the audience who are very new to Fiji Innovation Hub and what's happening at RBF, tell us some of the things you are working on there. I believe you're also working with other startups in the space. What has been your experience in there, and how has Reserve Bank helped you so far? Besides HFC, is there other technical expertise they're giving in and areas in one payment?
Um, I was very skeptical because I've been to a lot of not similar, a lot of discussion programs, and I always see that a lot of institutes use SME as marketing options, but there's no results. So when I first came into this innovation hub,
We had the same mindset
I had the same mindset.
that it's not going anywhere.
And we had this very proactive discussion behind the scene. A couple of friends. This is another waste of time, right? But amazingly, the way they've placed themselves after the hackathon and innovation hub, the activator program, it's great to see somebody in Fiji
Putting in the work.
putting in the work for startups. There has been nothing. There has been no exposure for startups, or
Or you're left knocking the door on
yeah,
most of
or
the
on the mercy of a lot of different. Let's say even any other products. You are left on the mercy of these top guns. It's either you team up with them or you sell them product when you are just at the incubator
Or
program.
by the time you go to market, they
Copy.
they copy it and they
True.
you're left
So-
with nothing.
So it's good. I really in simple terms, I really enjoy working with this whole innovation hub, the activator program. We are the cohort of one, which is the first lot, and but they have promised themselves a team, Saki, Easy, and the governor himself, and the whole team at RBF has promised themselves that this is not the end of it. It's gonna grow, and they are trying to bring more innovations, the local innovation, and help the startups in getting prepared, how to pitch, opening doors. We were recently, even though we were not actively in a World Cup, we were there. I think 3 weeks ago. Great opportunity. We had a particular one of the participants of the hackathon, I believe, who is going to the Silicon Valley through that program. So I think it's a great opportunity. And if you've got a great program, people out there, I would say, if you've got something original to yourself, don't sit back. Start talking to people at RBF. Go to the website, the Innovation Hub. I'm sure after our lot graduating from there, will be um, there will be more opportunities. So I think it's a great program. It was long overdue for Fiji, long overdue, and apparently they are building a facility for us. I think it's the 6th floor. ninth or the sixth.
Yeah, the whole space for
Yeah, space for us.
entrepreneurial space, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And I was very upfront last week on Wednesday when we had our last meeting. We have meeting every Wednesday, so I was very upfront that even if we are out of this program after the 9 week um, 9 week time and graduating, do we still have access? And they said yes. Why not? So it's a great program, and I believe we should. There should be more sponsors to this kind of stuff. Yeah. In the future, then you'll see that it could solve a lot of problems for a lot of different industries. That could be tourism, that could be manufacturing, that could be a normal retail space, that could be food, anything. I mean, we have AI builders right now, but that's not the only solution. You need to know what you're building. And then after building, how do you go back into the market?
So, in my view, I think it's a great program.
There's a lots of other participants in the Fiji in the Activator program too who spoke highly of you two because of your guys' veteran background in the tech space and you are assisting them. How was like working with other tech entrepreneurs? Because there's fintechs, there's I believe investment businesses, there's shareholder people who can come and buy shares. They're building platforms, educational platforms. How was it working with other entrepreneurs such as yourself in that space?
Well, we are providing whatever assistance they need. Like I said, any documentation or technical assistance. We believe in sharing the knowledge than to keeping it to yourself. So if there's issues that other innovators have, we normally sit down together and see if we can come up with a solution all the time. With our knowledge being in the business for so long, we've always guided whoever needed our assistance so far.
So Tech360 have been in the industry for so long. To those who are still not familiar with your services, what are the key services you provide at Tech360 that MSMEs should tap into right now? I believe the current one that's in topic at the time of June or at this recording is VMS compliance. And what other ways and solutions can businesses reach out to? They often think you guys can't solve for them. Yeah.
Well, see, we have a lot of software at the moment right now. We have a point of sale, full-fledged point of sale system, which is Ideal POS. Then we have basic point of sale systems, which are Cloud POS. We've got PMS, property management and booking system. Then we've got a ticketing solution. We've got real estate.
We do parking solutions.
We do parking solutions, and some of these systems are very cheap.
So we have products for all categories.
Sometimes you go to this vendor and they say, "Oh, you just buy this," right? I'm a vendor who strongly believes if I don't have a product for you, I'm not going to sell it to you. One good example would be pharmacies. I've got good friends who own pharmacies, and they've come to me and say, "Vimal, Divesh, I want to use your software for my pharmacy," and we clearly deny.
Because we don't have a product for pharmacies.
We don't have
and we don't want to.
Point of sale is point of sale, but our point of sale doesn't work on pharmacy. We don't have prescription writer and all that, and I'm not going to sell you that. Same thing with some other industry. They say that, I'm part of this industry, I want to buy a software. And we clearly have to say no. But now if you say, I'm a restaurant, right? I'll say, come on board.
If you're a small SME.
With my first big restaurant as Fatburger, and then experience built up on that, all my staff, my whole team thrive on restaurants. We got big customers. Great story, one big one. I think last month I was in Namale, getting their system up and running for F&B. Last year we had Korosan, and then we've got some other restaurants in Nandi and hotels in Nandi. Same way we've got some islands. So depending on your requirement, we'll give you a solution if we have a solution. It's a big if. I won't give you a solution if I don't have
We
it.
don't
And if I'm
make
not
false
confident
promises.
in you, I'll say, no, I'm really sorry.
Hmm.
You might have to find somebody else. So I'm not a guy who's going to try and just dump my system to you. I know my system is going to work. If I've given you idle pause for a site, I know it's going to work. And you're not going to jump out of it. And I can tell you it's going to be there for a long, 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 long time. It's not a short-term business. But on the other hand, if you see some competitors, just for a sale, they'll say, I'll promise you this customization and this customization. Just beware. I'm not saying they are bad. If it works, it's good, well and fine.
Just be aware of how long.
Be aware of how much your vendor or whoever your vendor is, how much he knows about the industry you want to get it off.
It's a very key thing to understand the customer's need well.
In simple terms, let's say if you're driving off-roading every day, every single day you're going up Namosi, every day you're going up Namosi, bad road, off-roading, you will never buy a small Prius or a Starlet or a small sedan. You will try and get your hands on a twin cab.
Yeah.
And you're loading with veggies every day, right? So it's the same way. Is the point of sale built for your purpose? If it's not,
then we won't be selling it.
then we won't be selling it to you. So that's on point of sale. Same with hospitality. Now, obviously, we're a small business. We're a small country. We only have, how many hotels we have? About a couple of thousand. Let's say a
Give or
couple of
take,
thousand.
yeah.
So, and then out of that, we are tapping on to maybe 5%. We can't compete with international market holders.
Yeah.
Now you have to understand that you might spend $15 a room, or let's say $10 a room per month with a vendor from Australia, right? Whereas I'm in Fiji, I might charge you $15 a room per month to use my system. So if you got $15 by 10 rooms, you're paying $150. How should I compete? The question is, how will I bring my price down if we only have 30, 40, 50 customers? That guy sitting in Australia, he's got maybe a couple of hundred customers or 1,000 customers, right? So obviously we always have to maintain, this is a local product. The cost will be slightly high, but the more we use, the price could come down.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that they are local. You can't always say that that guy from Australia is giving me a better deal. Yes, he might be giving a better deal. Can you pick up the phone
and call him?
And call him and say, fix it right now? Whereas that same vendor, if he's in Fiji, you'll pick up the phone and you'll say, fix it right now. Or else I'm doing this, I'm doing that. In parking, I'll give you an example. There's a customer in Fiji who's bought a parking system from New Zealand, Australia, I'm not sure. They invested a couple of $1 million during COVID. Couple of $1 million, mind you, couple of $1 million.
Are these the ones which reads the number plate and opens the gate?
No. I won't give any specifics to this. You'll easily find the way to the customer. He spent a couple of $1 million. I was part of that tender. I didn't qualify. We simply said because I had not enough sites.
Or they call it experience.
Right? Well, that's fine.
We don't even have that many car parks in the country, but sure.
So they went out of their way. They got this overseas vendor. This is talking 2019.
When COVID hit, right? The tender concluded.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That parking system still hasn't worked.
Wow.
Money is paid. Equipment has been installed. Right? But because he's sitting in overseas, legislation difference, jurisdiction is all different. And mind you, that customer is a government department. What can you do? Money to waste.
And then yet
they call another tender last year. Same situation. We have a local vendor who's proven himself now.
We do 90% of the car parks in the country.
So that's the problem in Fiji. That sometimes the locals don't recognize us.
Yep. That's a
We
common
we
saying.
have a better product in the country, but yet government departments or
And
local.
and the thing is that your product is proven for the country, while
Yes.
their
Yeah.
product isn't,
Yeah,
and it's
but
clearly
they
not
will
working.
still go
They
out of
rather
way.
take the first timer. When I was a first timer, they didn't give me an opportunity because I was local.
Yeah.
But they would give another first timer from overseas
Hmm.
to do a trial and error on them.
And if
How
it-
does that justify? And then you have the odyssey of saying we should support local. How?
the advocating the whole support local thing, but
Yeah.
not happening on the ground.
It's like you have to go to Wellington and apply from there.
Yeah.
That's the only
I had a
reason.
friend. I have a friend who's in Wellington. Called me last week. It's so happening that because of this innovation, I'm really getting contact with my old friends.
Hmm.
And I'll name him Jim Tora.
Hmm.
Right? He's based in Wellington right now. He calls me. He likes my parking system at the airport. He calls me and he tells me I should introduce that parking system in Wellington.
Hmm.
And I said, you know what? You do it. Whatever it is, I'll support you back.
Yeah.
It's
So, and then he's telling me about the parking meters. That they still have the same parking meters
Hmm.
which work there, but the difference is you tap your card,
Yeah.
right? Well, we in Fiji, we're going in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
We're going 100% app. In a
Hmm.
way, I have not seen that kind of situation ever.
and it's been launched few months already,
Yeah.
and it's still not
So,
functional.
the whole mentality of what I have, what I can offer,
Hmm.
is based on what my experience is.
Before we sell any product to a customer,
Yeah, I
we
want
do
to
a
know
lot
you.
of vigorous
I want
testing
to
within
know
our
you, like
company.
KYC. I want to know you. I want to know your requirements.
Hmm.
If I feel a little bit dodgy, or if I feel that my product will not be up to expectation, I'll clearly say, this is not it. So
We'll-
whatever we have, this is what we have.
We will only sell what we are comfortable with and have full knowledge on.
Okay.
So I think in general,
Hmm.
I'll sell you what we have, but we also need these government department, private sectors to believe in our people.
And do what they actually say.
Yeah, and give the opportunity. That's important. You can't be saying that I won't give. I don't want to get it locally. Maybe I'll pay $10 extra from China.
Yeah.
China, everything is cheap.
Hmm.
Every little thing is cheap. You can
You
buy a
can-
software. You can buy a hardware. Right? Anything you can bring from China, you can bring it in Fiji. Right? Now, let's say you want a point of sale for yourself, and you say, Vimal, I'll get your software, Ideal POS. I say, I'm happy to give you the software. Right? You've brought the hardware from China to Fiji. We've installed ours. You are happy, I'm happy. After 4 months, your hardware goes down. Who do you blame?
Hmm.
Are you gonna go
Then
back
you're going
to
to
China?
call me back and say, hey, can you give me a temporary hardware? Why should I give you temporary hardware?
True.
But if you've bought all the hardware off me, I would have said, okay, don't worry, I'm putting a hardware there at my cost.
Hmm.
You can't pick up the phone and tell Chinese guy, send one machine. He's not gonna
True.
he's not gonna acknowledge that.
True. So, guys, coming to a closing for this interesting discussion in the fintech space. So, I'll put Divesh for one question is that to the banking operators in our country who's been looking into this space, and they've been in the industry for almost more than 50 years, or maybe the time we got independence. I'm not sure who's the oldest bank right now, but the innovation has been slow, broken digital system, lack of inclusion and everything. What is one thing you would really want them to focus on and to really make a difference in the space of finance?
Well, the people who making decision, I think they need to come to the table with an open mindset. Not that we're not gonna work with you. The current system, the current way is banks don't want to work with new people. If they come with an open mindset, they might achieve better results. Like connecting to OnePay would be a breakthrough in the fintech market.
And Vimal, in your last question is that if one thing you need to fix, if you get the opportunity to fix in Fiji's financial policy environment, from government to private sector, what is that thing? What would that be? And you reckon that's is not being addressed at all?
I think that if the RBF needs to take control of what's happening, and more inclusion of innovations instead of sitting back and waiting for banks to innovate or requesting for innovation.
So basically, if RBF can tighten the grip on how they control and regulate the banks in terms of digitalization.
So at least at the end of the day, if we're all sitting in the same room, banks know that they can't point a finger and say you're not innovative, or they say you're not innovative. Right? Yeah, that's the important part. And another thing I'll add on to Divesh's feedback from my side, I would say, look after the service. I mean, the teleservices.
Core banking.
Look after your core business, which is banking.
The rest can be done by others.
You can outsource your stuff. You've already outsourced the telemarketing and call centers out, right? Partner with us. We'll handle your headache of running around with the FPOS machine. We're gonna fix that thing. We're gonna look after the infrastructure, right? Yet we're on the scale of profit sharing, so you're not losing your income. You're still on that profit sharing.
Yep.
But
So
at least
win-win for both.
instead of you putting 5 people running around for each town, or maybe 3% running around each town for FPOS machine, take that 3 people, put it behind the teller machine, the counters.
The banks handle the core banking,
Yeah.
the FPOS and
At
other
least
services
people will
are
be
handled
happy
by
that instead of having 10 counters, you got 10 tellers there.
That's true. That's a common thing in supermarkets,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Most of the time when you go to a
Supermarkets,
bank,
even banks.
you go, there's 10 tellers, but there's only two
Yeah,
operating.
that's true. Yeah, so this has been quite an interesting conversation. I really look forward to one payment hitting the market, and I hope the Fiji government, especially the banks who are watching this, I hope they get on board, and the ones who are already on board and have signed contract, I hope you fulfill it. And all the best for Fiji Innovation Hub. For the general public, if you are wondering who Tech360 is, they're based out of Suva. We will have their links at the bottom of your screen, and all the services to reach out to Vimal, and especially for MSME, for the business services, do reach out. And to the two of you, thank you so much for giving us insight into the fintech space in Fiji. Wish you good luck, all the best with one payment. On behalf of the Debrief Show, thank you for watching tonight.